Me. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another corner conversation on the Sermon on the Mount. Today we are on week 9, 10, 10 of the post Beatitude Sermon on the Mount.
18.
Yeah.
It's week 18.
Today we come to the middle of Jesus' sermon as he talked about prayer.
He did. Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
Riches.
Prayer's good, do it.
Prayer's good, do it. No, I
See
think
you
it's
next week.
oh man.
It's funny that I think that most of the time, like, that is the answer, right?
Prayer's good, do it.
Yeah. And I don't know if that works. Maybe.
I mean, it gives you a little do it. Like,
Well, I think my hot take is I think that if you think that you have to have big events to pray in a big event way, then you're not reading the Bible.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I agree.
Yeah, I think the focus. Yep. The Lord's Prayer is like, it's liturgical, it's ritual,
Mhm.
it's designed to be done habitually,
And
not
Yeah.
not
Very simple.
to be like a moment like catastrophe or celebration. It's ritual, and I think that our culture, I think our culture has it's not ritual fatigue. It just has moved so far away from like ritual. That's boring. Give me something new.
And I think that it has led us to the point of, like, saying, "Oh, I'll pray for you."
No. It's just praying hands emoji. That's saying you're praying for somebody is way too much.
Well, but if you but if you say that, right, that could be the length of the prayer. Like, what takes longer? Saying, "Oh, I'll pray for you about that," or just doing it.
Yep.
Like,
I think the pendulum swings like with the liturgical kind of things where some people do start to go back to wanting something that's a little more sacred. And I remember, like, when Mike and I were first married and living in Washington, we were going to a church that did like, I mean, it was a pretty modern service, but they did the communion bread, breaking the bread. My goodness. They did that every week. I think you got there, right?
breaking the bread.
Breaking the bread. Taking communion, they did that every week, and like you kind of went off on your own, and like they had a loaf of bread and you grabbed a piece and you dipped it in the cup, and then you kind of had a moment of like quiet at the end of service. And it was I felt like people were kind of growing, and like, I mean, hunger feels funny, but like feeling a little more hungry for some sacred moments in church. And I feel like even when like when I've been to Northeast a couple times and you guys end your service with what's the song?
The doxology.
The doxology. Somebody else has to say words.
The first
That's
verse
also why I
we'll
like
translate for you.
that God, Jesus is always like, it doesn't matter what you say. And I'm like, thank you, because it's going to take me a minute to find the right words. But the doxology and like some of those little sacred moments, I feel like it grounds us a little bit. Like, even if it is a little boring, I feel like it gives me a moment of just centers me a little. And we're like, comfort, but also more than that. Like, I feel like as I'm leaving service, having this moment where we do the doxology, it gives me a moment of like, okay, like I'm leaving with this mindset of why this matters and how it matters. And I don't know, like it kind of shapes my thinking as I go about my day, which I hope translates into shaping my thinking throughout the week. So I guess like when I'm with the Lord's Prayer, it like, I really like how it talks about like these daily things.
Yeah.
And it is really simple, but it is this, I mean, it says daily in the prayer more than once, give us today our daily bread. And it makes me go, okay, so there is some guidance to going, okay, like we should be even like these simple prayers, like it is good to do this daily and be mindful of it and kind of build some of those practices in.
Yeah, I think I mean, something for us as a community to even be adjusting in, I think, is be great. Is that in a mainline liturgical like order of service thing, it can lead you to a moment you're just like, you say, man, I've read the Apostle or the Nicene Creed 50 times last year. But then when somebody asks you the question outside of that context, well, what do you believe? And you go, well, I don't know. I believe in God the Father, creator of heaven and earth.
Yeah.
It's like it's in you. And then it's the same as like, when you, I think that I've thought this many times, even I guess we're coming up on a year since we focused on the Lord's Prayer for our retreat, is like that, like letting this be part of, every is such a strong word, but part of every service, because you go, how do I pray? What? And then you just go, Our Father, Lord. It's like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is muscle memory. You think in an athletic thing, when you do drills over and over again, you're like, listen, Mr. Miyagi, I don't understand why I need to
Paint the fence.
paint the fence. But that it doesn't actually work. Just so you know, that's movie magic.
Oh.
What else? You can take it out.
But the muscle. Hold the shot. Hold the shot.
Catch the fly.
But the muscle memory in a where it takes an activity and makes it almost thoughtless that you can respond and do that. The same is true. Like there's value in having that surrounding spiritual disciplines.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you think about the spiritual disciplines of generosity, of prayer, and of fasting, specifically these things that Jesus will be addressing in the beginning of chapter 6, like to build muscle memory in those, and the muscle memory not being that, look at me, I'm a very religious person, but rather I'm living being doing these things out of the purity of relationship with God, even in our faults for sure. But that muscle memory leads you to a moment when you go, Christ, again, all the way to the end of the Sermon on the Mount. Storms will come. You have this muscle memory of there's chaos around me. Well, be generous. It's not a production, just do it.
Yeah.
And chaos or pain or hardship, I pray. I bring focus on it. And the same too, it gives focus to fasting, but I like to zoom that out to many spiritual disciplines, is that, when you are focusing on being healthy outside of it being dramatic production is so great.
Yeah, I think part of what we're talking about too is like pedagogy and how do these teachings and truth of scripture, how do they get imparted to people?
Yeah.
And one of the things we kind of danced around a little bit is within pedagogy, specifically sports. You think about like drills; it's something you do over and over and over again. For a long time, for a lot of athletics, we've done something called block training, which is like, all right, we're gonna do free throws. We're gonna do free throws for 15 minutes, and then we're gonna do 3-pointers for 15 minutes. And you're doing one thing, and there's like a rhythm to it and a routine to it. And a lot of recent sports psychology work into how do we do training more efficiently has shown that it's better to do some form of interleaving.
Yeah.
Because what happens with that block, what happens with blocked training, is that your first few attempts, there's full effort, there's full attention, but then with each attempt, you actually put less effort in, and your brain is less attentive. And so, when it comes to different Christian traditions within more mainline, like Catholic and even like Greek Orthodox, and have developed all of these liturgies. And I think even within evangelical and Protestant circles, there's a liturgy, but unwritten. And so there's almost this, like, it becomes background. There's less attention to it. And so, but then on the other end, you have, what we experience more often is like going over the Lord's Prayer. We do it once a year, twice a year. And it's this thing where it's like, it's so unfrequently touched on that it ends up being almost like so fresh. So there's just this balance.
Balancing it.
How do you go about teaching? How often do you visit these things that are important, and learning how to pray? Because then the other thing that's along with interleaving, is this idea of like quizzing, and like obviously within sports, matches are a great form of quiz, but in life crisis are the matches. What do you do? What sticks so that when you hit those crisis moments, when you hit the quiz, what comes out?
Yeah,
I think that's interesting. Like with the practice, maybe like as you said, like kind of getting like so second nature that it's almost boring. That, but like when the quizzes or the life events happen, like it moves from being boring to being this is how I work through this, you know. And it's like it might be, I can see what, like I understand what you're saying, and I also think there is some value in knowing something so well that it's boring.
Well,
you know.
Well, I think my bigger point was like I think in our traditions we fall on the extremes. We fall on like we do it so much that it becomes almost unconscious, and like there's value in that because then you know it.
Yeah.
You might not know your why behind it. You might not have a lot of attention to it, but then on the other end, we touch it so infrequently. Like, I'll be honest, I can't say most creeds. Like I could probably say bits and pieces when someone starts it, but like there's just within our traditions, like we fall usually on one end of the spectrum. Of like we do it so much, it's just part of our every time we get together. It's background noise now.
Yeah.
But it's there. Or we don't touch it frequently enough.
And I think it's so easy to dismiss the routine because it's boring or it's monotonous or whatever. But part of the value is that you say it's so ingrained in you that it can be brought up without effort. It's like it's hard for Rachel to come up with words, but communication is
kind of a thing.
Coming up with it definitely it's, if you want to use a sports thing, I mean, professional basketball players have shot hundreds of thousands of free throws, hundreds of thousands. To be able to do a 15-foot shot at 80 or 90% is crazy to be able to do that. And and for sure, that's something that's it is boring.
Yeah,
but that's part of the degree to having health in almost any area of life is that the practice and the routine of it. You have to work through that monotony or boredom to really have health and repeatable health. So one thing that we're going to be doing, I think it's part of this what's really 4 parts of chapter 6 is moving to the visibility of stuff. And doing stuff to be seen. And in the culture that Jesus is talking to, people definitely brought religiosity to a production because that was something that was revered or respected. And that may not necessarily be the same now, depending on your subculture or your world. But definitely seeing people do stuff is fuel. And so anyway, we have this quiz here this morning. I made this like a week ago, and when I was folding them this morning, I thought, why didn't I just do this front back? And then I go, oh yeah, because you can see both of them at the same time. That's my brain sticking. But so it's side 1 is things that are kind of respectable but also kind of expected. Side 2 is things that are kind of like the antithesis or the negatives of them. But when the thing that surprised me today is that as I did this is that things that are respectable, did they make my opinion of people go up a lot? And I'm a 3 almost completely down the road. Like it's when people do things that they should do, like
then
congratulations,
they did it.
Yeah,
you did the thing
you're supposed to. Did you guys have? I took a lot of 3s.
There were a couple that I had higher numbers for.
Which like
tip generously. Because I
think that's a 4. That was the highest.
I gave that a 5 because I like when people are generous. And I also thought when people brought an item to Lost and Found, also
Hmm.
made me like, because I'm like, that's such an extra step. Like, you don't
Yeah.
actually have to do that.
I didn't.
And I feel like that was like a
Yeah, that's good.
mindful moment, you know?
Yeah.
And then admits fault. Not everybody does that. So
Hmm.
I gave that a
Yeah,
higher
I think
score.
that was my qualification for it being a 4 and not a 3. Was it's not everybody does it.
Mhm.
Follows traffic rules. Definitely not most of Minnesota.
And that's why.
I actually
I-
lose some respect when you follow the rules. Traffic rules.
Right around.
Just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Waits, picks up after dog, brings an to Lost and Found. Like I think there are those things where it's like you should do, but I definitely see it like a coin
Yeah.
toss where people don't always do those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the respectable
That's
things.
exactly-
So as a
Yeah.
listener to this, so the respectable things like washing your hands, picking up trash that isn't yours, tipping generously, putting weights back at the gym, and so on.
Mhm.
But then side 2 was each of them with an antithesis. So like a washing your hands, but not using soap.
I definitely lost a lot of respect.
Tossing all trash into the recycling bin. Running a red
Only if
light.
you let people touch you.
Giving a tip where you just round up to the next dollar amount.
Your
That's
thumb
a
is
pretty bad one.
197.
Okay, so
Right.
so for me, the generality of this is that I realize that if I see somebody do good things, it doesn't impact me at all. But if I see people doing bad things,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
lose respect quickly.
But I think it's good things, but they're like the expected. Like,
Mm.
I expect you to do these things. They're like
Yeah.
the social society rules. Because there are times where, like,
Hmm.
if somebody is putting a cart away for somebody else, like,
Yeah.
that's going above and beyond. And I would for sure go, wow, nice job, buddy. You know?
I do have one problem on here.
Uh-oh.
I don't think that shows good table manners and uses their pants as a napkin is a good. because you don't know how good the food is. Just saying, if the food's great and they're using their own pants, that's fine. Now, if they're talking loudly on the phone at a table in the middle of everyone and it's
Ooh.
wrecking everyone else's stuff, that's a 1.
Yeah.
That's a one.
Interesting.
Pants as a napkin? Dude,
Pants
if
is a napkin.
if this barbecue is great, pants is napkin. I'm just saying.
You know what?
Like, when I thought of table manners, I was like elbow on the tables. I wasn't thinking of like somebody.
I was thinking like sitting in a
phone.
restaurant and someone's loudly having
Yeah,
a conversation,
that's
and I'm
terrible.
like,
Do you have any ones?
Do I have any ones? I have a couple ones. But I want on pants as a napkin thing as a toddler parent.
pants is
My
a napkin.
Go back to pants.
And my shirt are a napkin.
Yeah.
For somebody else.
For,
Yeah.
yeah, for someone
Penny,
else.
Penny will definitely just like walk up, like get out of her chair, make the effort to come to my seat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh no! Just tell
Paint
him.
the fence,
Go
Penny-san.
see Rich. Rich's pants are napkin.
Pants is a napkin.
So,
Um,
which
I have a
did
few
you
ones.
have lose respect for a person?
Is that one?
I did lose respect when people did
Grocery
so.
cart between cars, but that comes
Yeah.
out of my Costco everything.
Yeah.
Traffic rules are my bane, so run a red light.
Really?
Yep.
That was a neutral for me.
And
Yeah.
not
but
picking
I
up
wasn't
dog
sure.
poop. I have stepped in enough dog
Yeah.
poop.
I agree with that.
And
When
then
someone doesn't
blames
like-
others for the mistake.
Or when they leave their giant dog poo in my yard, I don't feel happy.
When
about
they
that.
leave their giant dog poo where Scott can step in it.
Oh.
It's funny for me, but it's bad for Scott.
Not good.
Pockets of found item. That was the other one that I had.
That really loses
you know,
respect.
when you're just like, you see it, the person picks it up, they look around, and then they
I would
just
be
stick it
disappointed.
in their pocket. That's a
That didn't change much.
So let's
I
walk
think
into
that's a win.
the
there.
I got new phone. New phone.
There's a level. Your phone is different.
What's in his wallet?
Wallet also, not
Driver's license. Oh, cash.
I don't know who this is.
Card, credit card. See how that still works.
Okay. I
Pants
went lighter, like
napkin.
All right,
somebody lost.
So when you see somebody do what is expected, and they don't think anybody is watching, that I feel like that's kind of probably how we answered all of those things. But the second page,
Mhm.
how does it impact your feelings when you know that they saw you? Does that like if when I see, like, I would say the washing your hands one without soap, doesn't wash their hands. If they know that I'm watching them and they don't do it, like, it goes from being I'm disappointed to yuck.
Because if you know someone's watching and they still do it,
Yeah,
that means the water was the like they were stepping it up a notch.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, yeah.
like they don't usually use the water. They just
Yeah, I think, like, the accountability of being seen is not a bad thing.
no.
In fact, I like embrace that I'm gonna bump into people I know anywhere, even globally. It's like,
Yeah.
behave, because they're watching
Yeah.
you.
Brush your hair. That's how I think.
I
better
always
brush my hair.
I told when I was at camp, I would tell every single one of my staff at the end of the summer, "Hey, you're leaving here, but all these kids know who you are now."
Yeah.
And then I'll say, and just remember, everything's an interview.
Yeah.
Like, you might work for these people, so everything you do, you should do it in a way that someone will look at you and go, "Oh yeah, I want to hire that person."
Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting. Abria and I were getting tires for her car, the Tires Plus in the North Metro, way out of the way. And the person who took our order goes, "Do you know Rich Olson? Because you're a
That's
Camp Lebanon
funny.
person, right?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yes." So, yeah.
The camera.
So the pressure and the impact of being seen is real. I do think, somebody can say, "Yeah, I'm not hypocritical. I don't wash my hands whether you're watching me or not."
I'm glad you're authentic,
Yeah.
I guess.
But
Admits fault.
There you go.
But I think that realizing that as you come to prayer, is that all the way back to our first words, like, prayer is good, do it. Is that, or prayer when things are burning down, do it, that kind of a thing. Sure, but the impact, you're not going to necessarily win any awards by being somebody who's committed to praying consistently and constantly. I just think about, I I'm not winning any awards, but there are a couple of things that I want to be praying for our missionaries. I want to be thinking about our prayer focuses. I want to be praying for everybody in our church communities, giving time and intentionality to that. And it's not this. I haven't gotten a hug for that
Yeah.
recently, right?
They didn't wash their hands.
They didn't wash their hands. They still didn't wash their hands.
They didn't wash their hands anyway.
And I think that that's part of the challenge of being faithful in being generous, or being faithful in praying, or being faithful in your spiritual health, is that doing these expected things, whether they may not necessarily be common, but doing these expected things aren't necessarily going to get you a data boy.
Attaboy.
And also not doing them, which can be a great fence as well, isn't going to necessarily get you shamed or booed out of the room. And so there has to be another motivation.
Yeah.
I think Paul talks about it in 1 Thessalonians, but in it he's giving final instructions, and he says a few short little nuggets.
Yep.
And it's rejoice always, pray without ceasing, give thanks in all circumstances. And then he says, why? For this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. And I think that's that's it. It's don't do it on your own, because you'll be shamed, or you won't be shamed.
I think there's moments where like you kind of get discovered, like, oh, you've been praying for me, and like you're like grandmas, they always talk about grandmas writing people's names down in their Bibles and having a list of prayers that they're saying.
I came home at 2 a.m. and their grandma was, "Oh Lord."
But like, it's like always a surprise when you find out, like, you're like, oh, that person's been praying for me. And like, there is something that makes you really grateful for the people that do take those moments, even though, it might be a surprise sometimes, or they probably don't get thanked as often as they deserve, or all these things. But every once in a while, I feel like there's something that God put on your heart to do, and somebody finds out, and it's not supposed to be like that, but it's like somebody finds out once in a while and they're like, oh, you've been doing that for me. And it kind of gives you this moment of like, oh, this is important. Like it's a reminder, you know what I mean? Like it's not like the point isn't for people to find out. It shouldn't be the point.
Yeah.
But it is a good reminder sometimes when somebody does find out that you've been praying for them and they're so thankful and surprised.
And the point of Jesus's words here is not, try to make it a secret. There's something very different than try to make it a secret or try to make it a production or not make it a production. Is that I think it's healthy to pray with and let people know you're praying for them.
Yeah.
I think of if you grab 100 people that live in any of our neighborhoods and go, how valuable is it to be in somebody else's consciousness?
Yeah.
Like somebody else thinking of you. Like what's a pain point? Nobody cares.
Right.
And I think, I had Rich will roll his eyes in this. Is I had a couple of things that I've sold on Marketplace recently. And one of them was I sold a small trailer to a person that which was great, but she let me know she has she's building out this bread cart thing, and said that she's had to quit her job because she has a son with special needs, and so as I said, hey, I'm a Christian, and can I pray for you? And she's like, yes, please, like that moment. And I have no idea if she believes or anything in Jesus, but she was in a moment of just 1% vulnerability. And then to go, this could be a moment, thank you, goodbye. But just to give it that moment of pause.
Yeah.
And was not the goal, the purpose, but like her thank you in that was that she paid Venmo me $10 more than what I was selling it for. And so the heart of that is just to go like, I thought it not doing it would have not lowered no score change at all.
Yeah.
But the moment of just giving a moment of pause and just going, sometimes it is the praying hands emoji, but sometimes it is just literally just going, man, pray, you can
the
be
words
healthy as a mom, and that you have capacity, and that this business works. And I mean, it just it was like as little of as an investment, it was so valuable. And I think like, man, that's got to be constant. Bring that to the surface, bring that to the top. Not so that you would be seen as a Pharisee who's wailing on a street corner so that they would be revered, but rather that in that quiet, private moment, just to go, wow, thank you.
Yeah. I like it. Rich's wrap up. You got any good stuff?
I mean, I think the having a baseline of prayer. Just doing it, and then there are those moments. There are the church morning moments, or the get to pray for someone verbally next to them moments, or there's a group together that are like, I think all of those things can be really important things, but just the idea of that all stems out of things that I do when other people don't see that I'm doing them, because and here's the way to do it. So I think that's a good thing, and it's gonna be fun to unpack this one on Sunday again. I think it'll be good.
I love it.
Have a great day. Thanks.
Bye.